It's more like I would like to take this opportunity to kind of guide you very quickly through the way how we envision the toolkit, how we think kind of we should structure organize the different columns, what kind of information should be where. So it's really about making it more concrete and more kind of plausible in terms of a website and in terms of a product. I'll just go together with you very quickly through the way how we see how the toolkit can be structured and how the different columns play out and how the portals can work. So the way we see the toolkit right now is we have a kind of a landing page where you have kind of already these kind of 3 different columns where maybe the most current modules are already kind of here, kind of in each area already kind of presented, maybe the 2 most relevant or 2 most recent learn modules or explore or share modules. So this is kind of a quick introduction into the columns. Then further down, we have an area here where we can just present information that is maybe more recent, maybe even like a little news channel or some updates to some modules. So this is really more kind of a timeline where things kind of come in. And then obviously at the very bottom, we would like to also kind of talk about the Census Toolkit and really introduce the core concepts. So it's really, what I'm showing you now is kind of a vision of how we think the website could look like and could work like. So I can now say, okay, from here, I'm just going to jump into the Learn column. And you now get a list of all the Learn modules that are currently on the website. I'll just jump back. And another option would be from here that you go directly to the policy portal or the business and finance portal. And again, the idea of the portal is, and this is still kind of, I have to say, still a bit sketchy. I think the portals will be a kind of a condensed version of the toolkit that specifically addresses questions from one group of stakeholders. And kind of we want to kind of frame it in a way that these kind of overarching questions are really visible and present, and that the modules that are visible here are really where it's very clear that it's a kind of an editorial decision to show them here and not just have a kind of a collection of different Learn modules. So there's the portals, but then again I can go back to the main entry point of the toolkit, and then jump into the different columns. And for example, here's the Learn column where we kind of see directly the current list of Learn modules. We use some kind of color coding right now to also indicate where they belong to, and you can already also here kind of filter them down and say, okay, I just want to see the modules that relate to policy or to business and finance questions. So there's always this kind of filtering going on. At some point, I can then jump into a Learn module. And here, and again, kind of this is something we'll show to you later in detail, kind of how they play out. There is always kind of one specific question that we try to address and debate in the Learn module. And the idea is that we always have this kind of combination between text and imagery. And here, for example, you can see the CO2 emissions for different sectors. Oh, no, sorry, greenhouse gas emissions for different sectors. And this is all about kind of the transition from well, it's basically kind of decarbonization pathway. And this is kind of an actual work and prototype module that you will see later. But you can also jump here if you go to the Explore column. You'll have kind of 2, let's say, kind of sub-columns down here. And the one are these kind of open Explore modules where you can kind of jump directly into different kind of databases, for example, the SSP public database, and start kind of using these interfaces to access the data. But you can also, or you can also jump directly to I can't right now. So these are the Open Explore modules, and then there are also the Guided Explore modules. We'll have a breakout session tomorrow morning where we'll discuss them in further detail. But there again, kind of this idea of a kind of soft landing into the databases, and you can jump in here and get access directly to a kind of guided explore module. So the basic idea is, and especially what I think is interesting about these guided explore modules, there are several ways to access the information. I would always say there's kind of a horizontal way where you kind of jump from a learn module into the database, but there's also a vertical way where you can really go through the explore column to the existing guided explore modules and find out more about kind of a specific question or a specific data set. Yeah, and last but not least, you can go here to the share module, and the share module is basically a list of all the media files that we've kind of produced in the learn modules, and it can be also organized into different kind of sections, either really by the learn modules. For example, here, are we doing enough? Then you can go to the downloads or new directions and investments. You can jump in there, or you can organize them by media type. Say, okay, there will be charts, there are graphics, and also videos. And if you then go to a specific media file, you get a little preview. As I mentioned before, you get the authors, the data sources, the licensing, and you can then immediately download the material. So that's basically the setup. Again, this is all work in progress, but I think it's always good to be really very concrete about early design ideas because I think it makes it more believable and also is a greater foundation for a discussion. So yeah, that's basically it. We welcome your feedback.